This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Welcome to the first episode of Talk News TV for the month of June. And we'll start it off this month with an interview on various issues, but more particularly from a columnist of a newspaper that most people don't read. That's why we are featuring them and the columnists, because we want to encourage more people, especially those who have been stuck to Inquirer all these decades, or stuck to Philippine Star. You explore the other papers because there are better writers and intellectuals and columnists there. There are more solutions to problems that you will find there instead of creating problems for the solutions that are already found, as we can see very often in the other mainstream media. Our guest is none other than Michael Alunan. That's his background there. We featured him once before. He has been in business, suffered the travails of business, so he knows life. He is a punist. Is that the right word for it? He likes to play around with words, but more importantly, he takes his column very seriously, and he offers solutions to problems, and that does not create problems instead of offering solutions. So Michael is here with us. I would like to show also a menu of his columns. There, you see the various themes that he, from the Ides of Marx to Clean Air and Earth Day. That was our discussion last time. And advice to businesses and how they can really stop ripping off consumers. Westphalian principles and so on. Today we're going to discuss a few particular items from his many columns. The first one, of course, I think is on the transport business, no? And the problems of the transport workers, the jeepney strikes that demand solutions to the transport workers' problems. And you had several columns here. That one that was shown is one particularly giving very practical solutions to the cry of the transport workers na sobrang mabigat na sa kanila yung presyo ng langis at paano sila matutulungan. So if you can run through whatever you think the audience would benefit from dito sa mga sinulat mo dito.
Well, firstly, if the transport group at times when they feel it's an increase in fuel prices, they tend to pass it on to consumers through higher fare hikes. But the problem is, it triggers a spiral, price spiral that will affect everybody, the entire economy. And it will even worsen poverty. But they have not improved their efficiency, you know? So there are simple solutions. Like, for instance, there are many, you know? Like, for instance, if there should be a fast-track program to convert into cooperatives, they can enjoy the exemptions. Let's say co-ops enjoy an tax exemption. Let's say on BAT alone, how much is the diesel? It's about 47 pesos. If you compute 12% BAT exemption,
that's 4 pesos
5
already.
pesos.
5 pesos.
5 pesos, 6 centavos, 60 centavos.
And this is legal. And,
legal.
Doable,
So, like I think Piston and the other groups, no, they even wanted a rollback of 6 peso. It's almost about that much
Almost that
alone.
amount already.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's only the VAT exemption alone.
So
and there are others.
Like organizations, particularly Piston, shouts a lot, strikes a lot, but here's a simple solution that does not cause their drivers to lose income, does not disrupt traffic.
Yeah. And there are many more. Like for instance, even oil companies are willing to deal with let's say you can they're willing to set up gas stations for preferably cooperatives. So it can serve a cluster of organization of cooperatives. Why cooperatives? Because based on the experience of government financing, the regular associations, they have a very low repayment rate of about 30%. Cooperatives as high as 97% repayment.
Okay.
And they had bare cases. They even run off with not only the margin but the inventory. So how would you pay back the investments of the gas station? So they had a dismal experience with on that. So that alone, let's say they can give 3 pesos per liter. That's big.
So 5 pesos,
or even 4 pesos, or
5 pesos from the taxes.
5.60, no? Another 3.
That's
That's
8
pesos. Yeah. And if they can, because under the modernization program, there'll be clean fleet money. So what's clean fleet? Clean is clean air, no emission. Yeah. When your we reduce emission through better maintenance, adoption of maintenance practices, systems, technology, etc. You can achieve a minimum of 10% fuel savings, even as high as 30-40%. No, a minimum of 10% alone. If diesel is 47 pesos. That's already 4 pesos 70 centavos additional. So you have 860 plus 470. Make it 20, another 9 pesos actually. So 8 plus 9, you can even, achieve much more than that would cover the increase in the prices. It's even possible to roll back. I mean,
well, you also
theoretically, no?
You also mentioned in your article, and in fact, I see this every time I fill up my vehicles. These gasoline companies give discounts to their customers, no?
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit bigger.
A minimum of 1 to 2 pesos, no? 1 peso, that's the usual thing, no? Or 2 pesos the most they give to jeepney driver. But at the end of the day, it has not really meant anything to them, no? I mean, because it's just, but if you consolidate that, let's say, 1 peso, at 1 peso alone, a jeepney consumes about 30 liters a day. So in a day, that's 30 pesos.
Yeah.
Let's say a day, no? Assuming 300 days a year, that's about 9,000 pesos. You can use 9,000 for a maintenance program and even cover a little for welfare benefits. And you can achieve the maintenance savings, etc., of as high as our estimate was about 7 to as high as 8-9 pesos.
Yeah.
Easily, no? Easily. Yeah. So there are ways that can be done, no? So and it's actually in the law, in the Clean Air Act, Section 21 of the Clean Air Act. The DOTR is mandated to implement the emission standards 2 ways. One is inspection, and they have that MVIS, Motor Vehicle Inspection Service, no, system. And one is maintenance policy. There is none. So they don't have to do the maintenance, but they should come up a policy and a program that will require the sector and everybody, for that matter, to adopt the proper maintenance. So you undergo seminars, and there's in Section 11 of the Clean Air Act, that one of the functions of governments to make available all the information, best practices, systems, through seminars, no? So, and when you're supposedly caught for violating smoke belching, a violator is supposed to undergo, apart from paying penalties, they're supposed to undergo seminars where they're exposed to how they can prevent. Because I'm basically a clean air advocate, and my mission is, you know what? Emission impossible. Okay. That's where, and we empower the little guys through that.
Well, so a lot of these tasks should be done by government to provide the leadership for this. There is the Cooperative Development Authority and so on. Are you updated on what their actions are on this?
The key here, if they want, because the modernization is anchored on consolidation. And the best, they have options, corporate, consortium, co-ops. And for the jeepneys, the tricycle, the little guys, their only alternative that's viable and reasonable is cooperative because they enjoy also tax exemption and many, many more privileges.
So it's an organizing task.
Yeah, organizing task. It's fairly, but the organizing aspect can be fast-tracked with better policy program. And this can be, take an entire day to discuss everything, what measures can be improved. I mean, like if SCC you can register in 2-3 days, how come it takes a jeepney association even as long as 10 months to get registered as a cooperative? Yeah. These things happen. So crazy, no? I mean, I remember I was a newsman before, no, a business journalist. There was an American who registered, is into the mining accessories business. It took him 3 minutes and $11 to register in the States, but it took him 9 months to register his company here. No? And he had to move back and forth, I mean, thousands of, and they had asked all sorts of questions which were irrelevant. Yeah. So, why can't we approximate the same, no? I mean, barriers to entry will be relaxed.
Those are the improvements that have to be done. We have 3 minutes left for this segment. Give us a rundown on your solutions, practical solutions to the traffic problem.
Traffic, okay. I have actually about 6 simple solutions, but let me focus only about 3 or 4. No, one is immediately, even by next week, you do an odd even on private cars alone. Let's say 6 to 7:30, add 7:30 to 9 even, and the afternoon, early evening, the same. No, I mean, so half of the cars are out of the road, and that will ease traffic. You don't ban them from using their cars. They just wait for an hour and a half. Then they can...
Then they work out their schedules themselves.
Work out the schedules, okay. Now, if they're in a hurry, they can take the bus. Now, what will you do with the bus? The buses, they have only one door. Take out the seats and retain a few.
For the elderly, for
the
seniors,
pregnant, In Singapore, you can stand up on a bus. How come here, all are seated? Okay. So take out the seats, add more door and maybe 2 conductors. You'll increase the volume. Yeah. So you can bring passengers from where they came from to their destination in a shorter. Because what happens that causes the traffic, all are convenient all at the same time.
Okay, third one.
The third one, the truck ban is not of any help. Because the truck ban, as you ban them, they build up in the outskirts of the city. Once you lift the ban, they all come simultaneously and cause the traffic. So in other countries, they spread it out over a 24-hour period. After all, the tracking for the customs, import, export, the time is immaterial because our day is nighttime elsewhere.
1 minute. On the measures during the Marcos era, oil price stabilization fund, the state oil industry, what are your opinions?
I'm not agreeable with price stabilization because that will distort the market. Okay, it would be better. You can still exact the same or slap a levy on an oil, but for an intended purpose. Let's say use that oil as a
use the levy for.
Let's say call it a pollution. Pollution pay principle, on the pollution pay principle, because if their oil contributes to pollution, let them slap a tax and use that to fund programs that will reduce emissions, like a seminar, training program, maintenance program for the sector, etc.
Okay, so we'll go on to the advice to consumers and businesses serving consumers in our second part. Let's take this break.